Alright everybody, what is going on? It is your boy C4 here, and today I'm going to be breaking down the top 5 fantasy musts for the running back position. If you haven't already checked out, I did every must, bust, and sleeper for the quarterback position, so make sure you go check that out. And for reference, I will be referring to PPR League for my running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends that I'm going to be mentioning soon. I believe PPR League is the way to go. Adds a little bit more depth to your fantasy season, makes role players a little bit more valuable to your team. As well as, you know, just do PPR, trust me. Take your boy C4's word for it and do PPR. So without further ado, jumping in at number 5 running back, Lacy, who last season had 1,400 total yards from scrimmage, 11 total touchdowns, and 35 receptions. Now you may be thinking to yourself, well, C4, he's not going to be as used as heavily in the offense now that Aaron Rodgers and Randall Cobb are back fully healthy. True, but I think that, you know, where that will translate in less total yards will accumulate in more total touchdowns. I think he's going to be more of a red zone back. You know, I'm definitely not explicit to red zone back. Obviously, he's going to be a 3-down back, but he'll be more effective in the red zone. I can easily see him leading the league in total rushing touchdowns. Just because Aaron Rodgers in offense is going to move the ball down the field, and they're going to have Lacy to pound the ball in and, you know, finish the drives off. So I think he's going to be a very, very valuable running back. Could even see more receptions out of the backfield. You maybe say, maybe, it's tough to judge, really. Because Aaron Rodgers, you know, when they had whoever else they had, they just do check downs to Lacy, so he'd be able to rack you up some receptions there. But, you know, having Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback, he will find the best way to get good use of Lacy, so he will be a good pick there. Number 4, a little bit of a shocker, and that is Adrian Peterson. Now, keeping in mind, personally, I think AP is the greatest running back of our generation. He's an absolute animal, one of my favorite players. I got his jersey on my wall as a non-biased fan towards the Vikings and him. But for a PPR league, you know, all these top 5 guys are all going to be studs this upcoming season. But for a PPR league, AP just doesn't get enough receptions. 1,400 yards, 11 touchdowns total last year, 29 total receptions. Obviously, he was hurt, but he's still an absolute fucking animal. I wouldn't expect any less than, you know, what he got last year. 1,400 yards, 11 touchdowns. You know, that's AP. AP's a guaranteed lock. He should be a first-round pick. But again, these top 5 running backs, these all should be first-round picks. And get those fucking assholes that always draft a quarterback or a wide receiver super high. That's not, you know, a wide receiver that's not Calvin Johnson. All these guys should be first-round picks. It just comes down to personal preference. If you're not in a PPR league, AP easily number 2 or number 3, a top 3 running back choice. But in a PPR league, loses a little bit of value there. Maybe if Teddy Bridgewater gets the job, would throw a lot more checkdowns to AP and let AP carry the offense even more. But, you know, I would say keep him at number 4 for a PPR league. Number 3, Matt Forte, the PPR league's darling last year. Had him on my fantasy team. Took me to the championship. Had 1,900 total yards, 12 total touchdowns, and 74 receptions. You know, involved very heavily in that offense. It'll be interesting to see the transition. I believe Josh McCown threw the ball to Matt Forte a lot more than Jay Cutler will. But I don't expect his receptions to drop much. He's always been a good receiving running back. Almost 2,000 total yards, very underrated. Might be a sleeper because, you know, the guys like Lacy, Adrian Peterson, LeSean McCoy, Jamaal Charles are going to jump off the board right away. You might be able to get Matt Forte in the late first round, and that'd be an absolute fucking steal if I'm being honest with you. Number 2, LeSean McCoy, my boy Shady. It's tough not to put him at number 1, but there is some reasoning behind this. Last year, LeSean McCoy had 2,100 total yards, 11 total touchdowns, and 52 receptions. So not as many receptions as number 3, Matt Forte, and the number 1 who I'm going to get into, but still very productive. Most yards out of any running back or any player, I believe. You know, 2,100, that's a fuck ton of yards. Trust me, as an Eagles fan, LeSean McCoy gets it done. But the fact that you have the risk of offenses catching on to Nick Foles and Chip Kelly's scheme, I don't think that's going to be much of an issue, but there is some risk there. And the addition of Darren Sproles out of the backfield is going to not drastically limit the amount of time LeSean McCoy is on the field, but it's definitely something to be worried about, that you're not going to have to worry about the number 1 choice, which is going to be Jamaal Charles. Last year, Jamaal Charles had 2,000 total yards from scrimmage, 19 total touchdowns, and 70 receptions. Jamaal Charles is the guy in a PPR league. Alex Smith is the king of checkdowns. Jamaal Charles is going to rack up a bunch of receptions. He's going to get way more receiving touchdowns than LeSean McCoy or Matt Forte will. I think Jamaal Charles is a safe bet if he can stay healthy. You always had that, you know, the injury scare. Jamaal Charles had some injuries throughout his career. But for me, the number 1 pick in your draft, if you're doing a PPR league, should be Jamaal Charles. And if he slips anywhere past the first guy, you need to fucking get him. But there you have it, guys. Those are your top 5 fantasy musts for the running back position. As always, make sure you subscribe to Beast Mode TV. Talk me up in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think. Who do you think is a top 5 running back? And until next time, guys, it's your boy C4 saying peace out.